What up, y'all? It's DJ MV.
Flippin' MJ.
Lucha Rentals.
That's right. Now, today, this is another edition of our podcast that we do each and every week. We've been off for a couple of weeks because, honestly, we've been on the road. Between planning Atlantic City, which was a ride-along and a seminar, and doing seminars everywhere from Chicago to Detroit to damn near everywhere. So we've been running and purchasing cribs, but we're back. Now, we recently had a ride-along and seminar in Atlantic City. Had over 500 people there, and it was kind of odd to see people because I don't think they really got where they were getting the cribs from, you know? Well, we went to Atlantic City, and, a lot of the cribs that we buy are usually in the hood. They're usually distressed areas. Usually it's usually fucked up. That's where we purchase our cribs, whether they're in Jersey or Detroit or Atlantic City. And this time we had a ride-along. We got about 6 buses, 50 people. Each bus was supposed to be 50, but 40 people per bus. Yeah. And I think people were kind of shocked with the areas that we took them to and the areas that were growing.
Definitely.
When you look at some of those areas, it's not the best areas. It's hood, it's crackhead, it's fiends, it's low income to no income. But those are the areas. People say, well, why do you invest in those areas? And the reason we invest in those areas is a lot of times if you look at Harlem or you look at Jersey City, or you look at Brooklyn, or you look at Southside Jamaica, Queens, or areas in Detroit, what usually happens is investors come, they buy up the whole area, push us out, then fix that area up, and then when we come back, they charge us way higher in rent. So to my people out there that can afford it or that live in those areas, you buy those areas and you hold on to it. You fix up your own community. So when we were in Atlantic City this weekend, we took a lot of people to a lot of those areas. I mean, shit was fucked up to the point one dude, he was out there with a chain. You remember that guy?
He had a crutch and a chain.
He had a crutch and a chain. You know the chain that you use to close and to tighten the gate. And he was swinging the chain. This is my block. I'm not getting rid of my block. But sometimes that's what you have to go through. So we asked sometimes, Caesar, what's kind of like the worst thing that you've seen looking at a home and trying to possibly purchase a home?
Say, just like that situation, just the area. But, at the end of the day, once you got to think about it in a way where, all right, I buy this one particular property and I come in there, I fix that property. The next thing you know, the neighbor next door might be like, oh, man, look how his property looks. Right. You know what I mean? So I could do the same thing. And then little by little, the whole block changes. The whole neighborhood changes. Right. But somebody has to go in there and, see the bigger picture. Correct. Be able to dream. Yeah. And see what it is. Because right now you could go on that particular block and buy 20 houses for, $200,000. Right. Right. And you change the whole area because that guy's out there. Oh, yeah, it's my block. But you know what? Like what we should have told them, yeah, this is your block, but guess what? You talking shit, I'm going to buy your whole block and kick you out.
Atlantic City, we're about to make a strip club out here. Property, cheap. What you think, Yeah. I need work, man. We hired the people.
On a bouncing job.
All right, man. I got you, man. You look like a
I
big
like
bouncer.
putting niggas on their ass. I'm dead ass serious. Soon as I see that door open, I'm coming for a job. Everything, I know how to follow instructions. I pay attention to detail. I hit very fucking hard.
Bro, you look like it.
Oh, I say that. I'm on a job. I got it.
Always
My name is Omar Sharik Moon. Oh, you ask
you.
anybody out here, you see
Texas court. Got you. Got you. All right, we need some ladies to work.
Oh, wait.
Very pretty, though,
Dead
lady.
ass serious, dog.
I got you, man. All right. See what happens out here, man. It's Atlantic City, man. It's just crazy. We're trying to rebuild this area, though. Get all these fucking crazy maniacs out of here. It'll take us time. But first, you give them jobs, see what they got. They're no good, you get rid of them. Yeah? They got rooms for rent back here?
This one too.
Yeah, this one too?
Hey, yo, I'm telling you, and my brother bigger than me. But I'm the scary. You know what I'm saying? But that nigga's on that MMA what that fighter shit.
Yeah, this been for sale up here. It's
Yeah,
been for sale for a while, right?
Yeah, get that, cop that.
Can we interview the ladies or? How you like Atlantic City? How is it? How's the jobs out here? Is it rough?
It's tough. Especially in the summertime, because no.
No.
blur you out. We just
Like in
doing
the
little inches
summertime,
to
they
blur you out.
all the exchange
All right.
students and shit come down here.
Yeah. So how's this? Is the area changing?
I'm not from
I'm
here.
saying that I think
Where you
on
from?
some real
I'm from Philly.
on some real shit. I think if
How's
y'all
the money out here?
minds,
The money's good?
it depends.
Summertime. You
Man,
gotta
like,
go
all right,
get-
matter of fact, like on the weekends, like tonight, if y'all come through here tonight, y'all gonna see this shit.
What about the ocean?
What? Everything, yo. And it ain't not one motherfucking bitch I ain't had out here.
You got all the
Okay.
whole.
Yeah, I
of
know.
All of them.
They could have done so much
They-
more.
they should've- yeah, I know.
Have a
done
phone,
up.
baby. Let me show you something real quick. You think I'm gonna have you play, baby? I'll show you something real quick.
Got all the ladies, man. You got all the ladies with you.
Yeah,
You
they're leaving
tell me
us.
You need a Puerto Rican, a red bone.
You got them all, man. You got
Just
them
let
like
me know.
flavors,
Just
you know?
like that.
All right, but we gotta go, guys. Thank
Oh,
you
yeah,
for your
go ahead.
time.
I'm gonna
Thank
show you
man.
some shit
Nah,
that
we'll
you
be back
can
tonight.
love.
We'll check out the strip.
Hey,
Thank you,
okay.
guys. Thank you.
Omar from Texas Avenue, right?
Omar, thank
Definitely.
you.
Right. Well, not even that. He doesn't own the block,
He
and that's
doesn't
the
own
thing.
the block.
He rents.
You know what I mean? So it's not really your block, bro. Like it should be.
It should be.
It could be.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably making the money to do it, but you don't see the bigger picture either, and you're actually out there.
Right, and that's what we have to start changing. We have to start changing that mind frame where we start purchasing those houses that we rent and that our mama rents. That we have to change the narrative. And you know, today we have Lucci Rentals here because so many people ask about product managing. I said product managing, but
Property management.
property management. So let me ask you a question. So when you first got into the real estate, why did you decide to use your brother as a property manager? Because he had no experience. It's not like he went to school for property manager or anything like that, but you gave him a shot. What made you say, you know what, I'm going to give my brother a shot?
Well, my brother, I'm too nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if a tenant comes to me and, tells me their problems or what they're going through, I feel bad.
Okay.
My brother's an asshole, right?
That is
Number
true.
one.
That
He's
is
an
true.
asshole and he's a harasser.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll harass you so much that you're going to want to pay him because
Right.
you don't want him bothering you.
Okay.
Just don't let him borrow money because then he don't like paying. But
Right.
he's perfect to collect money from everybody. And he's just like me. We're both hustlers,
Mm-hmm.
and we're both people person.
Right.
Like, we're good with people, and that's pretty much one of the whole reasons. 'Cause at the beginning, when I had 2-3 houses, it was cool. I could do it myself. But
Right.
at the end of the day, he's my brother. I could help my family, and we all help each other, and the business grows.
Right.
And I knew he was meant to do this.
So how did you start off with him at first? Was it a one building? Was it 2 buildings? Was it 3 buildings? Like, what was the start of it?
We actually first I had a 2-family, Mercer Street in Patterson. He started managing that one. We had a 3-family on Presidential Street. So like I said, the first couple years I was still learning the business, so I still didn't explode or expand as much as possible.
Right.
Till year 2 when I learned about private financing and leverage.
Uh-huh.
And once that happens, we went from having 4 or 5 houses to having 20, 30 houses.
All right. Now,
Just
Lucci,
like that.
you started property managing. Now, how did you get the knack of property management? Because it's meeting a lot. It's not just picking up rent. So what does your job consist of?
Well, it consists of a lot of things.
Into the mic. Mm-hmm.
Property management is a whole bunch of things. It could be picking up rent, renting apartments, evicting people. That's the hard thing. Maintaining the property, making sure the property is kept every month, cutting the grass, snow removal, and repairs, making sure all the repairs get done.
Now, how did you learn this? Because, like I said, there is school for property management, but you didn't go to school for it. So how did you learn how to manage people and to manage properties and to get people in, get people out? That's the first thing people say. Well, how do you get people in the properties? So how did you learn?
Like they tell people how they sell drugs, man. You know what I mean? I'm just a natural. I'm a hustler. I've been a people's person, like my brother said, and I'm just good at what I do. Anything I touch, I put 100% into it, and I just go from there,
Now, when it comes to property management, you manage over how many properties now?
Right now, about 1,200.
1,200 properties. You 100 of mine, 1,000 of Caesars, Fernando's, 600. You have so many properties. So how do you maintain all those properties? Because, you're only one person.
Well, I'm just like, everybody has a gift at me. You know what I mean? I'm good at what I do, and I just been doing it so long now. I have a system. I have workers too, that help me out, cousins, relatives that are under me. And then I have a system, it's called Appfolio.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good. It's a property management software you can buy online, and then, you keep all your tenants' records, or the payment, and all that stuff online,
Right. Now, when it comes to
store it.
when it comes to property managing, now how do you find tenants? Like, what's the the process of getting a tenant into your building or unit or house?
Well, I started off, believe it or not, with Instagram. So I've been on the gram over 10 years. You know, they always delete my damn pages, but you know, that's another story. But I've been advertising my apartments since after MySpace. I went to Instagram, and then when Caesar gave me the opportunity, I used to put all my apartments on there, and then I met the people, and then I fill them out.
Now, when you feel somebody out, let's say you get a respective person that wants to come in, and they're saying, "Hey, I want to rent this apartment." So, what's the process from there?
Well, first I meet them. You know, I tell them to meet me at the party. We'll get to meet each other, and then I tell them this application check they got to do. You know, we do a background check.
And what's on the background check? What are you looking for in a background check?
The background check? I don't care about criminal records.
Okay.
You know, I don't discriminate on nobody. You know, I was not a great guy growing up. You know, I did my time, so I don't discriminate on criminal records. Credit. I just look at the credit, but not too much, because bad credit or good credit, it doesn't even matter at this point because we're so far in it. So basically, all I look for is, you know what I mean, the pay stubs mostly. Make sure they make the income.
Make sure they can afford it.
Yeah, they can afford it, I give them a chance. And at the end of the day, if they don't pay the rent, I get them out in 25 to 30 days, you know?
Now, a lot of people ask, you know, if I can't pay the rent, you know, how come when I pay late, you charge me a late fee? You know, obviously I'm late, so I can't afford it. Then why are you going to charge me a late fee? Or why do you kick people out? So what do you say to people who always ask that? Because sometimes when I post on Instagram, they say, "Why are you kicking people out?" So what do you say for that?
For example, what happens when you're when you pay your cell phone late, MB?
Get a late fee.
And also they cut you off, right?
Absolutely. They call mad times.
And then you have a reactivation fee on top of that.
Correct.
So if you got 4 or 5, 6 lines, you're looking at $20 a pop. So
Right.
you just pay $140 just to reconnect your phone and your reactivation fees.
Absolutely.
Just in the same way, because you know, I work for people. You know what I mean? These are not my homes. I property manage them for them. My brother has a mortgage. He has to pay the bank. So if he don't pay on time, they charge him a late fee as well.
Correct.
You know, so from the 1st to the 5th, you know, after the 5th is a late fee. And I'm comfortable. I give people good late fees. I don't charge them every day, because in a late fee, whatever you have on your leases, you could charge them every day for being late. I just charge a one-time fee for $100. So, you know.
Right. Now, what about kicking people out? You know, in some of the apartments, what's the process of getting somebody out? Let's say somebody doesn't pay the rent. Is it the first time they don't do it, you get them out, or is it the second time? How does that work?
Well, I don't give nobody no chances, because at the end of the day, it's a job. You know, I got to get paid, and that's what my job consists of. So usually the rent is from the 1st to the 5th. After the 6th or the 7th, I see you a little late, I ask you for the late fee. If you don't answer the phone after that, I file a court motion in downtown Patterson, usually after the 8th of the month. I don't wait for the following month. I file the same month that you owe me the rent.
Right.
Understand?
I got you. So now a lot of people don't understand when it comes to collecting rent, and I tell people like this all the time. Think of it like this: if you live in a building and you don't pay your rent, or you're late on your rent, they're gonna charge you a late fee, and if they don't charge you a late fee, they're gonna kick you out, and then they're gonna keep your deposit. And people always say, "Well, what about garage? You charge for garage." If any building to park in a garage, they charge you a fee. For any building, they charge you for storage if need be. They charge you for certain things. There is no difference. The only difference is now that you're a landlord and you have to make sure your bills get paid. Now people say, "Well, you got 99 buildings." Well, that means I have 99 mortgages to pay.
Yep.
You know, I have 99 people that I have to pay to come clean, to come to cut the
The worst
lawn.
part, when they report that to your credit, you're late on your mortgage, that
Right.
goes on your credit, and that will mess you up.
Absolutely. So, this is a business. Although we are helping people and we're cleaning up in communities and teaching people how to handle it, it's still a business, and we still have to make sure that we cover ourselves and cover our end. And that's one of the biggest things people ask. Now, as far as property management, if somebody wanted to hire you for property management, do you only work in New York, in Jersey, or do you work in New York, or how does it work?
Mostly I do Jersey. You know what I mean? I'm doing Jersey now, but I'm trying to expand. I have a little team with me now. And, I'm managing for you guys. So people could look me up on Instagram at Lucci Rentals,
Now, question, what's the worst thing that's happened to you when you went to go collect some bread?
Oh, man, scary stuff, MB.
Like what?
Well, one time a lady pulled a gun on me.
Really?
Yeah, I had to run out of there. Next day, I filed eviction notice. I heard she owed me 2 months. That was in the beginning, though, in Newark, somewhere in Newark. So I never tested Newark before, so I thought it was a cowboy coming from Patterson. Oh, Patterson, no, let me go to Newark. Try Newark out. It was in a good look.
Lady pulled out a gun on you.
Yeah, lady pulled out the gun. She's like, "I ain't paying you shit, you fat motherfucker." I'm like, "Oh, shit." I'm like, all right, it's cool. You don't got to pay me. I'm
You
not
got
the
it.
owner. It's my job.
It's just, yeah, not the owner.
No wonder he don't want to pick up the lady. So I ran the fuck out of there and I
Right.
called the guy, man, I ain't doing this shit again. So I gave it another shot, man. And since then, I've never been scared, man, because at the end of the day, somebody has to do it, you know?
Right.
And then these areas, you know, other people mail you rent. You know, a lot of people, you're in suburban town, you know, people, you could trust people to mail you rent. But in the hood, you got to go, you know, house to house collecting rent, man, because people ain't trying to go to no post office and mail you no check.
Got you. Now, with property management, now, what's the worst thing that you've seen as far as having to, you know, run a property or control some of these units that you have?
It's just a lot of stories.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people always complaining about this, complaining about that. All the tenants complain when it comes to paying the rent.
Mm-hmm.
Once when you hit that mark, you got to pay your rent. Oh, I need this. I need that. This something. I'm not going to pay you for that. You know, so, but it's just part of the business.
Mm-hmm.
People, you know, in America don't like paying. That's kind of like one of the things that I like to say. Like, people just don't like paying. But we are human.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody says, look, man, I only, you know, my rent's $1,000. I only have $800. Can you let me go a couple of days? We work with them.
Right.
Like, we're not saying that, you know, oh, you don't pay on the 5th. We're going to file the papers the next day. We try to work with them as much as possible. But at the end of the day, it's a business.
Right.
Right? So we have bills. We got to pay the water bill. We got to pay the utility bill. We have to pay the mortgage, the insurance. You know what I mean? It's so many bills. Like, yeah, you guys are complaining about paying $1,000. I got to pay $300,000 in bills.
Right.
You know? So at the end of the day, it is a business. And the toughest part of the business is evicting people.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as, you know, it's just one of those things. As I mentioned, you have so many units that if a couple units don't pay, you're still good.
Right.
Another thing is, too, the eviction process is pretty smooth. Once somebody doesn't pay, just to piggyback up on what he was talking about, if your property's in the LLC, you need an attorney no matter what to file the eviction. If it's under your personal name, he could file it himself.
Right.
So you don't have to pay an attorney. You know, an attorney, like for us, you know, they probably charges $100, $150. A regular person might have to pay $700, $600 if it's under an LLC.
We usually got the best prices on that with our lawyers, you know.
The other thing is, too, that kind of a trick of the trade, like we're in an urban environment, so we really can't base it on somebody's credit.
Right.
So, like he said, you should look at the income. You know, if the person makes $4,000 a month, you know he could afford $1,000 or $1,800.
Right.
But if that person only makes $1,000 a month, he can't afford that rent.
Correct.
You know, you're going into chaos. A lot of the stuff too that I realized at the beginning. Let's say you have an apartment for $1,200, right?
Right.
And this guy comes along and tells you, "I'll give you $1,400, right, instead of the $1,200." Right there, that's a red flag.
Why?
Because he's paying you more, and he can't afford that apartment. I had that happen to me at the beginning. We're like, you know what? We love the apartment. You just sold it to 5 people. You know, F them. I'm going to give you $200 more. And what happened? 2 months later, I'm evicting the guy.
Good
Rather
discussion.
take
You
the
know?
person with the least rent because you
Yep.
know they're guaranteed it.
But their income's more.
Right.
Like, you can't, you know what I mean? You got to be smart sometimes. Oh, yeah, this guy's going to give me more money, but he has more debt. The other guy's going to give me what I want, you know, market rent, but he can afford it.
Gotcha.
So sometimes that extra $100, $200 will actually become a bigger headache
Gotcha.
than what you think. Another thing that's good too, like just to give people a little trick of the trade, when you do rent to somebody, right, you get a copy of their license and get a copy of their social security card, right?
You need to sue them.
Their social, and hopefully, even though to this day, believe it or not, a lot of people don't have bank accounts, get also a copy of a check, right? A canceled check. So, God forbid, if they don't pay and you have to evict them, you got their social, so you could actually put a lien. Because no matter what, at the end of the day, right, when you think about it, even though the person doesn't have the money to pay you today,
Right.
eventually that person is going to get money, right? So now, I don't care if it's a child support, money back from school, or they get a lawsuit.
Might
They're
hit a
gonna get
bingo
mon-
check.
Yeah,
Right.
They'll get money someday, and you could eventually get paid.
Gotcha.
And there's actually, the funny thing about it, too, is that now, just like, you know how when collection companies, they buy bad debt, credit card debt, or loan debt, whatever, there's actually collection companies now that they actually buy that kind of debt. And
Really?
they actually charge you a fee, and they'll actually go after them and collect that money for you that they owe you in back rent once you evict them.
Wow.
And you don't even have to chase them or file a lawsuit or anything like that.
They're
Somebody
gonna
will
make
take
their
care of that
money.
for you.
Wow.
Yep.
All right. Well, that was just a little on property managing. And don't forget, if you want to see us or come to one of our seminars, the next couple of seminars we have coming up is Houston, Texas. We got a lot of calls, a lot of emails, a lot of DMs from Houston, Texas. So we will be in Houston, Texas. That will be October 13th.
13th, yes.
October 13th. And then in November, we will be in Atlanta, coming back to Atlanta. Last time we were in Atlanta, we had over 1,000 people there. We got a lot of calls from Atlanta. So don't worry. Next year, we're setting up where we're going to try to touch every market. We're going to hit Boston, Milwaukee, Dallas, back to Florida, of course, New York, New Jersey.
Hawaii.
He said Hawaii. We were going to try to come to Canada. So we're going to try to come to all those places and talk about real estate. Now, I know there's a lot of seminars. We spoke to a guy that paid $35,000 for a seminar. And he said he got more knowledge out of our seminar than anything else. So just be careful. I tell everybody, if you want to get into real estate, just don't throw your money around. Sit back, read, listen to podcasts, follow people on Instagram. Understand what you're doing before you just put that money out. Because I told him,
Do your homework.
yeah, do your homework. I told him that $35,000 you could have bought a place.
Yep.
You know, and in certain markets you could have bought 2 places.
Yeah.
And you would have got that money right back. So definitely do your homework. All right. Well, Lucci, you got to go get this money, man, because it's
Yes,
the first.
sir.
To
It's
the
the first
15th.
of the month,
That's
and y'all
right.
holding me up.
That's right. You got to go get this money. And everybody else will see you guys. Don't forget you could follow us on Instagram. I'm at DJ Envy.
Flipping NJ.
I'm at. Well, I got
He doesn't even know.
It's a new one, so it's at Lucci.rentals.
At Lucci.rentals. All right. And we'll see you guys later. And don't forget, click the link in our bio for more information. I'm DJ Envy
Flipping NJ.
Lucci Rentals.
from flip to start, right? Or from
From
start
start to flip.
From start to
start to
flip.